Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to office hours. Thank you for joining us. Yvonne, unfortunately, is sheltering because of a tornado warning. So Kaylee is going to run office hours today. Hopefully, Yvonne will be checking in once it is safe to do so. So for anyone, I do see one or two new faces here. So for anyone who's new, I'm Ronnie from NIGP. And just to let you know that how office hours works is it's basically come and bring your questions and Kaylee and Yvonne answer them directly for you. If you have a question, the best way to let us know is just to raise your hand or you can put something in chat if you'd prefer. If we don't have any questions, we will move on to some items that we have identified that might be of interest. Jennifer, Stefan, and I have been working on a schedule and a plan for trainings and office hours starting in September. So we will be sending that information out to you. We will be doing things a little differently. We will be having a training session geared towards specific roles or areas like onboarding and membership and events and communications and all that kind of thing. And those will be scheduled far in advance so that you guys can put those on your schedule and stuff like that. But we will send you all that information. We also have a regular office hours as well, like we are currently doing, but we will send you all that information. We are collating and putting it together now. So just to give you a heads up, and hooray, I already see some hands up. So Latasha, welcome. So glad you were able to join us. Take it away.
Thank you, Ronnie. And the calendar invite really helped me remember this meeting. I just had a quick question regarding the SCAGPO website. Is our website operational to the point where it's time for me to go in and merge documents and stuff like that? Or are y'all still updating our website?
So I can answer that, Kaylee. Your site is ready for you to go in and do whatever you would like. It's certainly not complete, right? But it is in the development process. But anything that you will do will stay and won't influence anything. So
Okay.
please feel free. I sent you the information about how to add people
Mhm.
for admins and coordinators and stuff like that. So you're free to get started.
Okay, awesome sauce. I'll go ahead and get that process started.
And attending office hours is a really great way to learn from some of the things, maybe a little more like what we're going to cover today might not necessarily be something that right away you need to know, but it's still very much of interest down the line. But we
Mhm.
will be having onboarding training as well.
Okay.
And so let you know about that. So
Thank you so much.
sure.
And I guess one more question. I'm sorry, Mike. Does I know one of our strategies you talked about is making sure I train the membership. Does NIGP have like a training that chapters can deliver to their membership on the website? And if not, that's fine. I could develop one and then share it with NIGP later. But I think that would be helpful.
So we don't have necessarily a specific member training, but we are actually in the process um, of creating some scribes and videos of some of the processes most confusing to members, like managing a primary membership, which would actually apply to you guys in terms of how to manage all of that. So we are working on developing some member, but Club Express also has a member portal instruction as well. So I could
Mm.
send you the link to that.
That's fine.
And you can, that is, it will explain to you some of the like how to go to your profile and how to look at the documents in your doc. So that kind of thing does explain to your members what it is, how to do the certain things on their site. So that does exist. So
Yeah.
I can send you that link.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Sure, absolutely. Is that it, Latasha? You can always raise your hand if you have another one. So, Mike,
Hi, good morning. We're new users with Map with the website, and I think we had some prorated charges come through for membership dues, but we just wanted to kind of double check on that. I think we had a consensus of like new members would be prorated, but reoccurring would not be.
well, you shouldn't have any charges that I'm aware of. So, we certainly want to take a look at that.
Dues rather when people signed up. I
Oh, I
think
see.
they're prorated dues, but I'm not entirely sure.
So, can
Um,
you?
yeah, sorry, I'm a little confused on that one. Um, by prorated. Um, yeah. Can you give an example?
So our annual membership's $40 and it starts January 1st. And I think we set up to where if somebody signs up now that's new, it would be the remainder of the year. And so I think $17 is what some people signed up with.
Okay, let me take a look at your join settings.
Sure.
So, Kaylee, if you could, for anyone who is new, explain what you're doing while you're doing it. So, the control panel and people manager and all of that. So,
Absolutely. So your membership settings are all in your control panel under the people tab. And you'll find, Mike, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, the renewal and expiration settings here.
I feel like I saw every option but that one when I was looking.
Oh, okay, so you have proration enabled. All right. Um, this one I'm hoping that Yvonne can get back on and assist with. Um, should the system okay, and do you have an example of one where it did not work? A particular member?
We had 5 members of the city of Aurora. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. I'd have to.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a look in there in the people manager and look for the city of Aurora
Sure.
by company. So in the people manager, you can filter by company. Okay, let me just take a look at the primary member. I think these are all primaries, so you don't have any secondary set for city of Aurora. Okay, let's go in. Last login, expiration date 2026, transaction history.
So I do have a list of names that receive the prorated.
Okay,
That's not one of them. Another one would be Carlos Rivera.
okay. Okay, so we have two profiles for Carlos Rivera as well.
Okay.
Um, does yours include a member number? Your list?
Probably does. Let's see.
Looks like they've never logged into this profile here. Okay, payment history, no payments found. Okay, so this looks like a duplicate profile. We're gonna be doing some member cleanup later on. So at some point you'll want to merge these members. But 132 looks like the primary, the profile that's active for Carlos. And so in the profile, you have transaction history and payment credit history. I'm gonna go to the payment credit history and they paid, okay, $17 on July 31st.
Yeah, and we only caught it when I was doing the treasurer's report and trying to figure out what $17 was.
Okay, so so $17 is that prorated rate for their
Yeah,
membership having joined late? That's what I'm assuming. Does that
that's
clear?
kind of what. Yeah, that's kind of what we're assuming as well.
Okay, and did you want that or is that something you don't want?
Only for new members.
Only for new members. So this
Yeah,
is a member that's renewed.
I believe so. We
Okay.
weren't the greatest record keeping as far as that with the old
No.
website.
If they did, I'm sorry, I am here. Go back to that profile, Kaylee. You can see member number 132, join date 7/31/2026. So they did join as a new member on July 31, 2026, which is why they're prorated. They may have had an expired profile, but they did not log in and renew as an expired profile. They started as a brand new person.
Okay.
And I'm going to jump in here just to ask because MAP is really very new. I can't remember when you guys launched, maybe beginning of June or something,
The mid-June.
mid-June. So Yvonne, in terms of that data transfer of uploading their members to the site versus it wouldn't influence this at all, would it? Just
No, if they were uploaded in June,
Okay.
then it would say June.
Okay, all right, just to ask. Yeah.
If you could go back to renewal settings, Kaylee.
Okay, that's under the people tab again.
So everybody joins January 1st. You have a grace period. So you have both a prorated and a grace period. So in the grace period, I don't know if Kaylee went over this because I had to leave the meeting and come back. I'm having storm issues here. So if somebody joins in November, they're not going to get prorated. They're just going to get 2 free months. But if they join earlier than November, then they're going to get prorated dues.
Okay. And that's join rather than renew their membership.
Correct.
Okay. I think that's kind of what we're going for. We just wanted to make sure that that's what the settings we have.
Yeah.
Yvonne, did you want to take over sharing screen?
Sure. Or at least until my electricity goes out again.
Was that it in terms of questions, Mike? Do you have any
Yes.
more? Yep.
Very helpful, and especially going through the control panel. Thank you.
Latasha,
Hey, I'm sorry for coming back with another question.
not at all. That's what this is for.
So I'm playing with the website to set up additional admins, and I can't remember. Should I set up those admins as like admin 2, admin 3 type admin roles because our admins would also have their membership account, or is there a way to merge admin and membership accounts together?
Okay, Latasha, which group are you with?
Skagpo.
They haven't launched yet, Yvonne. They're in development.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's look at
South Carolina, right?
South Carolina. Let's look at it here. I think I need a new mouse.
Oh, I think you need to use the other login.
Sorry. Since you're new, I don't have the login saved yet.
It should be the username NIGP all caps at Acclaim Pros.
Oh, geez. Thank you, Kaylee. There we go.
Great.
So in the control panel, under your chapter tab, that is where you have your administrators and coordinators. And just for anyone who's new and people who don't know, an administrator is different than a coordinator. An administrator is somebody who has complete access to your website. That means the website look and feel, the design. They could accidentally eliminate your footer. They could mess up your header. So it's suggested to limit who has full administrator rights. But you can assign as many coordinators as you want, and you can give them access by function. So if you wanted to, so I don't believe you have your membership uploaded yet, so we can't do any coordinators, but we'll just use you as an example. There's no reason to give somebody coordinator rights if they have admin rights. So this is just duplicative, but we're going to use you as the example. So since you don't have your members in here yet, I'm just going to use you in here. I'm going to search for you. And the search function works pretty much the same through all the modules when you're looking for members or coordinators. And then these are every single thing you see on the tabs in the control panel. They're divided into 3 sections: the main, the reports, and the setup. The setup is more back end, the stuff that you do at the beginning of creating the website. It's there are some things that you'll have to go into, like member types and stuff like that, if you ever need to change how much you're charging for dues and stuff, and or add a member type. But most of the stuff you're going to do and add coordinators are either going to be under the main tab or the reports tab. So let's say maybe you have somebody who is going to be coordinating all your events and they're going to be creating all the events. You would just click on events. You probably want that person to also have access to the reports. Might want some reports in there. Maybe they need to sometimes look up people. So there's a difference between people lookup and people manager. People manager is where you can go to their profile and make edits to their expiration. You can go to, do all the stuff that you change their address, everything. People lookup is basically just a way for people, a coordinator, to just look up and see if there is a member, but not have access to their profile. So that's the difference here. So let's say you decide that you want to give this person your access to those 3 things, and you click save. Now that means that you only have, forget that you're an admin, you only have access to those three things. And if I look at that again, I can click on functions here. It is the people tab, the website tab, and the communications tab. So if you were to log in as a coordinator and you went to the control panel, you would still see control panel, but you would only see the tabs that you have access to, plus the dashboard and support. But the dashboard is something different. If nobody's played around with the dashboard, I definitely recommend playing around with the dashboard, because this is unique to you, and you can go to your dashboard and you can add and remove modules here from the control panel on the dashboard. It's just real quick, a place that you can look up information very quickly. Like right now, it says there's only 1 member in here. So like if you're a member, if you're in charge of membership, you can customize your dashboard to show you reports quickly that has to do with members. If you're a treasurer, you can customize it to have the reports that has to do with treasurer money. Okay. So now, does that answer your question? Because I wasn't 100% clear what your question was. I know it had to do with assigning coordinators.
So right now in Star Chapter, how we're using Star Chapter, I have my member login, and then let's say I'm nominating chair. I have a separate login for nominating chair. My member login gives me very limited access. My nominating login gives me broader access, and it's more so role based, right? So next year, if I'm not nominating chair, someone else will be given the password and rights over that account. So should we be like for our board setting up 2 accounts, like they would have their board login and then they will have their membership login?
In Club Express, you don't need to do that,
Okay.
because you're assigning the coordinators and what they have access to using this function here.
Oh, okay. That
What I
makes
do recommend though doing, oh, and by the way, if let's say you made this person, you made yourself this person have those specific roles, you could copy that coordinator and choose another member to have those exact same roles, instead of having to go through each process over and over and over again. And it'll automatically copy that. Because of the coordinator module in Club Express, you don't need to have multiple sign-ins. However, the caveat to that is I recommend every group have a guest membership. So I recommend creating a guest member. It could just be SCAGPO first name and then guest second name. And the login could be SCAGPO guest and then whatever password you want to create. And don't give that membership any admin rights, no coordinator rights, nothing. Because in every module within Club Express, when you're a coordinator or an admin, you see things that the regular member who doesn't have control panel access sees. And
Okay.
so a lot of times you'll be looking at, for instance, like an event. You'll say, why am I seeing this registration type? I don't want to see this registration type. And the reason you're seeing the registration type is because you're a coordinator and you see every registration type. So you log out, log in as your guest member, just a regular old membership, and look at the page again, and then you'll see, oh, okay, this is exactly what I want the public or the members to see.
Okay, that makes
But that's all,
perfect.
and you can share that login profile with everybody on your board, everybody who you need to share it with. But you don't have to create multiple profiles for everybody.
Okay.
So the purpose, I'm going to jump in here 1 second. So Latasha, also my understanding though is you are going to need other people to be able to log in right now to help in the development of your website, correct?
Correct.
So in that case, you need to add them as members first and then give them admin rights
Okay.
so that they can do that. And then you decide when you upload when you send me your data to have uploaded in the back end, do you keep the membership record that you've created already and remove them from your member list? Or do you merge them? Or do they have an admin login and then they have a separate member login, right?
Mhm.
So those are things that you would decide because for now you need to create individual admin records or coordinator records so that those people can have access to the website. There's no other way to do it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and
And
usually what you'll do is if there, let's say you've got 5 people who you want to have access right now while you're creating the site, you would go to the people manager and you would add a member and you would go through the process just like they would basically, but just as an admin. And that would push a username and temporary password to them. Then they would be able to have access. You'd add them as a coordinator or a full admin, whatever you decide. And then when you send the list to Ronnie to be uploaded by member uploads, most people, what they do is they just remove those 5 names
okay.
from the list so that they don't get uploaded, so they don't have multiple profiles. Just remove those 5.
Okay, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, do we know, I have a board meeting this week, when I guess the design phase will be complete for SCAGPO?
Oh, golly. Well, you have a deadline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of, I think we had
We're
said
trying to go
October or
live in
something, right?
December.
I
Um,
mean, this can be done in September. There's really no,
okay.
yeah, I don't think there'll be any problem with having that, So some of the things, for instance, we had talked about the slider images. So you would need to let me know on your homepage slider whether you want us to purchase images for you or whether you guys will use your own, that kind of thing, to put those in place. But the actual site itself is set up, as you saw from what Yvonne was showing.
Mhm.
There's just minor, and certainly we have to do all the content transfer, right? So that hasn't even started, right? So that piece needs to be done, but that will be in place before you need it for your, I can't remember what it was, your conference that you had in November or whatever. So,
In
yeah.
November, and just discuss what our communication strategy to the membership is going to be. So I just want to kind of set the board's expectation and just give them a progress update of where we're at. But definitely would love, like, even if in October we can have a lunch and learn for the members.
And that shouldn't be a problem. That would be
Okay.
something that Michael from Club Express that we had our implementation call with, he is the person that really does handle all of the getting you to launch. So
Mhm.
he would be somebody for questions and progress updates and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Vicky, you have your hand up.
Morning, or afternoon, I don't know. Um, I I'm new, fairly new to this, and I don't think that the Copper chapter has been using the website for very long, so I really don't have anyone to kind of per se teach me. But one thing on the last meeting that I attended that you all mentioned was the cleanup of the people manager because we had a lot of users. And so I'm basically this question is open to anyone who might possibly have the answer. In cleaning out the list, how and whom should I be deleting or removing, and what's the process for that since I've not ever seen it? I've done a few like that were businesses and duplicates, but I just want to make sure I'm on the right path before I go in here and clean it up.
Sure. Well, there's both cleanup tools for members and non-members. So
Okay.
first of all, when you go to the People tab and the People Manager, it automatically defaults to members and active and
Mm-hmm.
expired only. This is a drop down. I
Mm-hmm.
recommend choosing all. This is how you're going to find duplicate records, and I recommend clicking on both. Because you could be going in here for anything. Let's say you're just looking up your profile and you type in your name and you see, oh wow, I'm in here twice. I'm not saying you're Lamar, but I'm in here twice. I've got a dropped and a dropped, whatever. But I'm not looking at a very good one here, a
I
good
am there
example.
twice. There it is, right there.
Okay, so you've got a
Maria.
non-member active profile, and then you have an active member profile. So the proper way to do these as a one-off would be and this is why I say I recommend choosing both and checking all every single time you go
Okay.
in here, because this is how you're going to find these things. And so the first thing I would do when I see this duplicate is I might click on this. If you see this blue, that means it's a hyperlink. And I might click on it just to double check that it's the same email address. Is that the same email address? Is it definitely the same person, or is there any way there's another person that has the same name, etc. You know what I'm talking about. And then when you realize that they are the same person and you want to clean it up, you go to the non-member active profile, you go to the Actions tab, More Options, Merge. Now you're merging with, if there were 3 of you non-member actives, you'd have to merge all the non-members, and then you can also merge the member. But there's only one duplicate, so I'm going to merge with a member,
Okay.
and I'm going to find you. And just to make sure, if there's a long list, you just want to make sure 43A, that's the one I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then scroll down, hit save. And now anything that was in your non-member profile has now been merged in with your active. So for instance, if you had registered 2 years ago for an event and you weren't a member at the time, that transaction will be merged into your member profile.
So if I were to look like I'm looking at, that's probably, thank you. I really appreciate it. If I was looking at Casase, because I guess I was trying to make sure that I wasn't accidentally deleting something on these duplicates. So is it the non-member that we delete, the non-paying one? Is that what that means? Or what
Yeah,
does
you
that
don't
mean?
delete, you merge it with the member. So you can
Okay.
merge a non-member with another non-member, and you can merge a non-member with a member, but you can't do a member with a non-member, if that makes sense. So in other
Okay.
words, yeah, there's nothing in the actions here in a member tab, an active member tab, to merge it with a non-member. You have to start with the non-member profile. Now, there is a way to do mass merging, mass cleanup. I'm not going to do that with your site. I'm going to do it with my site here.
Is this going to be a scribe?
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
can do that.
Let me just lower my hand here. I really appreciate it because the last thing that you all showed me helped so much.
Great. Okay, so control panel and go to the people manager. And under the non-member options is a cleanup tool. And here I'm going to find duplicates by email and first name. Now, for those who have been doing this forever, this is new. Club Express made edits to this cleanup tool about a week and a half ago. So this might be new for you guys. So I'm going to hit go. And I'm gonna clean up Carol. There's 3 people named with the same email address whose first name is Carol. Click on actions. And I'm going to look at the details. You can, if you know for sure, you can just merge all to member, but I want to look at the details and make sure that I'm actually have the right person. They're all 3 the same person. And let's see. You can, when you know that it's definitely the 3 that you want, or maybe this is a different Carol with the same, the same first name or whatever. You can just choose who you want to select and then merge them into one. Now it's going to open up this screen. This is where it gets new for some people who aren't used to this. Now you can actually see a lot more information and you can choose what you want to make sure, what you're merging here. So let's see. What you want to, what you want to keep, in other words. Like maybe if there were an address here, if they had some addresses, but maybe this address didn't match this address, but you know that this address is now the correct address and this one's the wrong one, then you'd be able to choose the correct address and merge it. Hit next. I really do need a new mouse, I think. And then accept and merge. So it's a little bit different a process for those who have been doing this in the past. And now I'm down to 2 people. Okay. That's one way you can do it. That's one way you can do a lot of them. If I were in another website, Ginny, I know I always pick on you, but I know you're in this site a lot. Let me see. Complete capture. Oh.
Is it common to have like a long list?
It's common, especially with groups that if you have events and you have registration for members and non-members and you're charging the same price. A lot of times with sites like that, the people they get too lazy to try and log in. It's the same price, so they just register as a non-member, and that's how they end up getting a lot of duplicates.
I'm showing like 47 sets of duplicates.
That could be why. Or I don't know if you uploaded a non-member list at some point, but maybe some of your non-member lists that you uploaded to the website, or not you, but whoever did, might have been an old, not cleaned up list. And since the time that they created that list, people had actually joined. That could be why too. So let's see. If I go to the non-member options, cleanup tools, and I find duplicates by first or email address and first name. Jenny has none. So she's been cleaning this up. But you can just do a real quick, easy merge of all of them if you feel confident that the email address and the first name matches. They're all going to be good. There's an option where you can just do them all at once real quickly.
It seems like the majority of what I'm seeing here when I did that, I was following along, are mostly like for like vendors.
So vendors, if they're registering for your conference, the reverse trade shows, I guess it would be something.
Yeah.
When you go to, if they've registered once and then next year they go to register again, there is an option for them to look themselves up. It
Okay.
actually says on the event registration page, if you've ever registered for an event, put in this information, it'll look up their non-member profile. People don't go through that step most of the time, and they just create a whole new non-member profile. And that's why you're going to get non-member duplicates like that.
Okay.
And there's no way around it, right?
Yeah.
That's very helpful. I'm just trying to do one thing at a time.
Let's see,
Try to
is
get
this
it cleaned up.
open? No, it's a
Yes.
membership meeting. Just want to just quickly show somebody that would be forum here, maybe?
That's,
Oh,
yeah,
that's your forum.
yeah.
Um,
So we have our reverse trade show is going to be November 17th, I believe.
it's
And
not on
it's
the calendar yet, so.
not, oh, okay. Okay. It's not on the calendar, but I thought it was somewhere on the site. But yeah, that's helpful. That's really helpful because I just want to make sure that we're cleaning it out as much as we can, but I didn't want to make that mistake. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you never delete whether it's a non-member or not, or like say if somebody left the agency and is no longer there, what do you do with those?
Well, that depends on how you want to handle it. My recommendation would be to drop them. And then you have to go through a process, and Club Express is working on making this process easier, but you have to drop them. And then if they're an agency member secondary, you have to drop them from the agency, then you have to expire them, and then you have to I'm sorry, you have to make them active, and then you have to make them a non-member. But that's up to you. It really depends on if you want to still keep them somewhere in the database. The thing is, if they've left the agency, the email address is going to change. So it's not really like you can communicate with them. So that's why I say it's really up to each group what they want to do. Maybe you have a new email address for them and they've given you one, then you could create, you could just change their information in the profile.
And I guess, well, and that's a great question, because we have our board meeting today, and I'm going to ask them that because we have several that were working for agencies that are now in the private sector. And there's a ton of them. And so I was just trying to figure out what would be the best way to keep our records clean and, just start with one thing at a time, as I'm learning to try to figure that out.
Yeah, after your board meeting and they decide what they want to do, why don't you contact us and then we'll walk you through the best way to do based on what they want you to do.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Sure.
Okay, I don't see any hands up. Did we want to talk about the interests module?
Sure. So I'm going to start it, and if I get a little confused or whatever, because I don't know if I'm sure you heard I was hiding in the basement here with tornadoes coming through. So Kaylee finished it. Unless Kaylee, you want to take over and go through it?
Yeah, I can. And then if you feel like I missed something, you can jump
Sure.
in. But yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
fine. And then I'm going to scribe this too. If anyone wants to use that to play around in the future. Okay.
And I am putting together a place where we're going to place all these scribes, so they'll be easily accessible for anyone based on topic. So just FYI.
Awesome.
Kaylee, I don't know if at the start of the meeting, did you go into the member sign up and show that member button?
I don't. I can show that really quick
Yeah, I'd like
before
that.
I start scribing. Something that is important just to keep in mind is setting that you can enable or disable on your website. If you are not logged in and you go to login, it says login or cancel. Now, there's some other setting that you can add another button that's basically like become a new member to this little box thing here. So I'm just going to show you how to get to that setting and then what it looks like.
And Club Express just added this recently.
Under the control panel, this is under the people tab. And remind me, it's under
New member sign up under
new
admin
member.
functions, first column at the top.
Oh, here we go. So under new member sign up, there's this new option, enable not a member, join here button. So that's just going to add, we're going to save this. Always hit save at the bottom of the page. And I'm going to log out and show you what that change looks like now. Go to log in. And now we have this button. It almost should always be there, but you do have to enable that if you do want to start using that. So just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. Okay, so for the interest module, I'm going to start scribing. We just wanted to show you a fun feature that you can use, may be helpful for your organization. We've created a couple examples. So under all of these tabs, you have admin functions, then you have your website modules. Some of you might be using committees, you might be using the membership directory. We're going to take a look at the interests module, and I'm going to show you first what it looks like on the public facing side.
Kaylee, can you just show that if it's not enabled there, how they would check if somebody can't, I guess one thing to mention is if you can't see it, you may be a coordinator and you may not have access rights to it. So there's one thing, but then if it's just not showing, sometimes it just needs to be enabled, right?
Yes, and for admins, you're going to find that across all of the tabs here in this more column. So under the people tab, if we go to the more column configure, this shows all of the people tabs, functions, modules, etc. Sometimes maybe the interest module could be under the disabled modules for this tab. If it was under here, then you wouldn't have been able to see it in the control panel. So in this case, we have a check-in desk, a business directory. All of these things are not showing up on the control panel, but if I wanted them to, I would go to one of them and change the status from disabled to active and hit save. Always look for the save button. It's kind of hidden in this configure section, but hit save and then close, and then that would have popped up. And then another thing I'll briefly mention just while we're in here is you can change the names of these modules. So say for interests, you maybe want to change the name of the interests module to specialty areas, if that's what you decide to use this module for. You can change the name of the function. You can also change the name of how it shows up on the menu. And you can change the name of how it shows up in the browser title. And you would always hit save as well. You also have a visibility section here to public or members only. I'm not going to make any changes, but just wanted to show you that. So you can edit a module or you can view it from the public side. I'm going to view it, and I have that tab open already. So this is what the interest module looks like. It is organized by, this is the category of the interest. Within the category, these are the specific interests. It's going to show how many members are a part of that interest, and it might show if there is a coordinator affiliated with that specific interest. You also have the ability to add a little photo to each of the interests. And you also have the ability to add a link to an interest that goes to a separate page that shows more information on, for this example, social media marketing. So let's click on more info. In this example, I have it linked to a custom page that I built that shows some opportunities for social media marketing in case somebody wanted to hop on that volunteer opportunity. And then I also want to show you what it looks like to view members. This construction interest has no members at this point, but it does have a coordinator. I'm going to add some members and then we'll look at what that looks like. So we have Billie Holiday is the coordinator. If you click on it, it'll pull up some of their information. All right, so this is what it looks like on the front facing. I'm going to show you how to get it to this point. So by going into the admin side of things, you'll be clicking edit on interests. Awesome. All of the modules have an options to set specific settings. I'm going to go there first. We have decided for this module to notify on membership change. So when I was showing you the coordinator for each interest, you can have the coordinator get a notification, we've selected yes, when someone joins, leaves, or is expired and dropped from the group. So that's a handy tool. At the very beginning of the interest category admin is where you're setting those categories. I had two, for examples, specialty area and volunteer opportunities. I'll show you what that looks like to edit. So you can include a brief description and you can set some constraints on that. To create a new category, you just use add category here and hit save. Now within this category, you can also change the display sequence. That is going to be like, if I wanted volunteer opportunities to be at the top, you could do that here. Okay, and then beyond this, now within each category, I want to start creating some interests. You will go to actions and interests. And I've created a few by using this add interests button here. It's pretty simple, just a name and description. Here is the club webpage. This is that social media opportunity link that I included. And here is where you can select an image as well for certain interests. Then you can manually add members and you can manually add coordinators from the admin side, but they are also able to do it themselves. And I can show you where that's done too. So for adding members, let's say Bonnie wants to be in or has a specialty area of construction. Donna also is in construction and save. And then similarly, you can assign a coordinator. Awesome. So let's go take a look back at the interests. And you can see now that there are two members and there is a coordinator, a single coordinator. If there were multiple, there would just be a longer list here. You can view members and see what that looks like. And it's just a short contact card. Now there's a couple of different ways where members have the opportunity to select their interests. One of those ways is through their profile. So to get to your profile at the top right of the screen, you hover over your name and click profile. And your website functions, your interests is right here. A little bit hard to find. But yes, so this is where you'll select, a member will select what interests they might want to be added to. Let's go ahead and add some and hit save. An even better way to get members to see how to add themselves to interests is through the member join and renewal process. So you can set that up in the control panel. Once you've set up all of these interests, under the People tab and New Member Sign Up, we were here a little bit earlier, there's a section of member interests. You can enable that for new members that are signing up for the first time. You can also enable it to show up when a member is renewing. And what that does is when they go through the sign up process and they go through the renewal process, a screen will pop up in the process that asks them what their interests are. So this is probably the best way to get that in front of them if you do want to utilize this module. So you would go here and click save. Does anyone have questions about interests?
I have a question. Can you email based on an identified interest? Can you send people email?
So you can, Yvonne, do you know the answer? I think you know, but
Yeah.
you can contact a specific member.
Yeah, so click on view members.
Oh,
And
here
if
we
you
go.
have it set up that you can email, that's in the configure settings of the interests. You can click on that. Anyone in the group can click on that and send an email to the group. Um, I would
Go ahead.
also, if you would, Kaylee, please log out and log in as uh, one of our Billie Holiday, maybe. And then go to the interests. So this is Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday does not have panel access. So this is just a regular member, not a coordinator of the interests. And then go to the IT and cybersecurity. And then she can join that interest group from here too. So if you enable the interest module on to be added to somewhere on your website, whether it's in the menu or somewhere else on a custom page, a link to it, then they can join, they can add themselves to interest groups from here as well. This might be really good for just, some of the interest groups we created, the phony ones we created were for volunteer opportunities. So, you could, if you're only going to use the interest module, if you decided to use it, maybe for upcoming volunteer opportunities or committee, like a reverse trade show volunteer, different levels or something, you could rename it from interest to volunteer opportunities or something like that, if that's the only thing you're going to use it for.
We had also talked about it. I mean, I think with some of these, you have to be creative in terms of how you'd like to use it. But we had talked about there's a forums module on Club Express, right? So, and you have a general one, but you'd like to have ones that are topic specific, like we do on NIGP's Insight, for instance. You could set it up in such a way that you are, set up interest based on those topics to see who would be interested in that forum and communicate to them and say, sign up for this forum. And then they can do that within their profile. So, but there's probably, or you're having your conference and you have different tracks of topics covered or whatever, and you, based on the topic, interests, for instance. So, or they can communicate with each other based on you have city people in your chapter versus county versus state. You can set it up in various different ways. It's another way to communicate outward. Okay,
Awesome.
we did
you-
have,
Yeah, and
No,
for
you-
those
I'm
for
sorry.
those who are using the forums and want to start using the interests, the way that you would set up a forum specifically for that interest group is you would go to the communications tab and then go to the forums. And then when you're adding a new forum, one of the options you have is who's the membership going to be. In this drop down, it can be interest members, and then you choose which interest group, And do we want the visibility to be public, club members only, forum members only? And then all of these additional settings. And, I'm not going to get into all of this right now because we are coming up on close and I want to see if anybody has questions, but you can play around with it. But this is how you can create a forum for that specific interest group. And then, of course, like Kaylee said, always scroll down and save. But that, again, is under Control Panel, Communications, Forums. And when you add a new forum, you're choosing membership of the interest group. And then you choose the interest group.
So we do have one more question, Yvonne, from Jackie, who is asking, how can I change my new member welcome letter?
Okay, so I did go ahead and put some information in there, and it's in the chat.
Yeah.
It's gonna depend on which welcome letters you have. So and how they become a new member. So for instance, let's take a look at them. So what this is this is an automatically generated email that is generated automatically from Club Express when somebody takes an action. Whether it's a member, an admin, or a non-member taking an action, there are a lot of emails that are automatically generated, and all of those are under Communications tab and System emails. So Communications, System emails. And as I said, there's a lot of them, and a lot of them have nothing to do with you. But these are available for every single Club Express client. For instance, there's a ride share, I think, in here. You're probably never going to use a ride share because that's for people who are, I think, aging in place. I'm not sure. If you're using the happy birthday message, here's a happy birthday. But what you're trying to, for your question, you're looking for new members. Let's see. So here are several new member ones. New member confirmation converted, entered by an admin. So that's if you are entering the new membership yourself, this is the email they're going to get because it's entered by admin. This is a new member confirmation self-entered. That means they've actually done it. So that's why I'm saying there's several different ones here. You have to figure out, you have to narrow it down to which email you're trying to target and edit. And you go to the Actions tab. So let's say it's going to be self-entered. You go to this Actions tab and you want to customize the email. This is a system tag. Don't mess with the system tag. Now you can replace it if you want. You're not going to replace dear first member because that's going to pull in the first name. That's going to pull in the person's name. But you could get rid of club name and actually type in a claim pros or whatever your chapter name is. Something like that is fine. But don't get rid of the system tag. Don't accidentally remove one of these little tildes. If you remove a tilde, you just broke it. And what's going to happen is the person is going to get the email and it's going to say, dear tilde member underscore first underscore name tilde comma. Okay, so I think everybody understands that. And then you can make some little edits, however you want to make your edits. I'm going to cancel that. Well, actually, I'm going to save it. And I didn't do it. Just want to save something like this just so you can see. I saved it. When I saved it, you get a green check mark. That means you've made edits to it. I made a mistake in that edit. I don't want that edit. I can remove the customized version and it reverts it back to what Club Express's generic email is. And then you can go back in and start editing again. Once I know that everything is the way I want it, it's going to have it's going to be customized. It's going to have a green check mark. I'm just going to make a little save here. And then one other thing I recommend, send a test email to yourself so that you can look at the email, make sure everything is working, and also configure email, turn on tracking. I recommend that for any of your emails that are going around. When you've turned on tracking, you'll see a little gear here, and that means you can see if somebody actually opened up that email. If the tracking is on and somebody joined and they said, I didn't get the welcome email, you could go in here, you can go to tracking under the tab. You can look and see whether or not the email was sent to them, what email address it was sent to, and whether or not they opened it and what day and time they opened it. Does that answer your question? Hopefully,
Yes, it
at
did.
least it
Thank
gets
you.
you started.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, well, my gosh, we've gone up straight to the hour. Thank you everyone for joining us. As I mentioned when we started, we are going to be sending out information about a whole new format for office hours in the next week or so. Actually, the next week for sure. So please keep an eye out for that. We will be doing this again in 2 weeks. Under the same format. We will start the new format in September. But please join us in 2 weeks. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Yvonne and Kaylee.
Thank you.
My apologies for being a little discombobulated today with the storm. Sorry about that, everybody.
Certainly understandable. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.